guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Call Your Mom podcast. We are so glad you are here. Today we have a very touching subject. It's actually started from a story when I met some new friends recently, and I'm really excited to dive into it. But first, let's do a quick catch up, a quick where am I? Because I'm clearly not in the studio with my mom, and kind of what's going on with you too, Mom.
No, it's never been the right time. Like we're holding back the storyline. And I'm waiting at the end of the night, thinking of you.
Let's start with you. What's going on in your life?
Well, we went to Stagecoach. We had a blast. So fun. But I came home and I was sick for like 10 days.
I know, it was so sad.
So I'm just recovering from being sick and, just catching up on life. It really knocked me out. And then I had to drive you to the airport and you flew away.
I know. I am with my husband now in New Hampshire. I really love it. So far, I'm really happy in our brand new apartment. Luckily they have this like giant chair, so it kind of helps me record the podcast. But other than that, I don't really have an update other than I'm going to hang out with my friends this weekend. I'm going to go to Boston, so you can see some of the fun sights I'm going to see. It's going to be really fun.
Gosh, I'm so excited because I have always wanted to go to Boston. So I'm super excited to watch your stories and see where you guys go, see what you guys do, and let me know if you like it.
I will. I went with my in-laws and it was really fun. Remember, yeah. I was telling you about that.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, we just went for the day though, so I'm excited to explore more.
Yeah, you're going to have so much fun. I can't wait to see all the photos and all the videos and all the good stuff.
Yeah, Shannon and Ari, we're gonna.
I have something exciting. You and I have been talking about doing this, and we just never made time. You've done it before, but I haven't, and so I'm going to learn pickleball on this next week.
Yeah, I forgot about that. She has a pickleball training, right?
Yeah, it's like a intro class or whatever to learn how to play and learn all the rules and all that good stuff. So I'm going with a bunch of girls and should be interesting. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I love pickleball. Johnny thought I was going to be bad at it and ended up being not that bad.
Oh my gosh, I like all the outfits. I see all the girlies in their outfits and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to play pickleball so I could be cute.
So fun. It is fun. It is so fun. I played with Johnny's family and it was a good time. And I'm not the best at serving, but I was really good at everything else. So that was good.
I wonder what it's going to be like. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, we'll keep you guys updated. So that's a little update on our life. And part of this podcast today, you're going to hear all about why we need to support each other in girlhood and womanhood and achieving our dreams. We've talked about how to achieve your dreams, how to set goals. But what does that look like to support your friends in that? How do you support strangers in that? And why it's so important that we actually support each other in our journey, in our life, in that. Because I know we have all experienced some sort of mean girl in our life. And I'm here to remind you to not be the mean girl. To shine and let other women shine and to support each other and all of that. So we're going to have this full conversation, but really this all stemmed from me actually coming to New Hampshire and meeting baseball girlfriends and wives and us just having conversation. I've never met them in my life, but they were all super sweet, super amazing. And we had this one conversation that really, really stuck out to me. But before I dive in, Mom, what do you think about this subject, why it's important, and in your life, where have you experienced, supporting other girls and supporting other women?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I just want to say that when one woman shines, we all shine. There is enough sparkle in the world for all of us, you guys. Seriously, you do not need to dull anyone else's light and you don't need to dull yours because there's enough sparkle in the world for all of us. But gosh, okay. So when you talk about dulling someone's shine, one of the or stories that comes to my mind was when I was younger, you guys were little, I was running to baseball, doing all these different things. And I used to not dress up very much just because you're in the throes of being a mama and I was tired or whatever. But I decided I was like, you know what? I'm going to start dressing up more, even if it's just taking Stevie to baseball practice or you to singing lessons or whatever, but just really start pouring into myself more. And so that meant, putting on a sundress and my makeup and just getting fully ready for the day. And it made me feel really good. And I remember going to a baseball game on the weekend for the kids. And one of the moms said to me, kind of snarky, like, why are you all dressed up? Like, you're running errands like that. And it just really made me go back into my shell, because at the time I was already shy. Believe it or not, I was shy, but it was mostly around, other moms and stuff, just because I was so young. And so I ended up not dressing up as much anymore and not really pouring into myself as much anymore and doing my makeup and putting on the sparkly things, because I felt like that person told me that, I shouldn't do that and that I wasn't worthy of doing that. And it's so funny. I look back now and I'm like, who cares? Who cares if I wanted to dress up and that person didn't want to? It was really just a reflection from how they felt about themselves. So they were just, projecting their insecurities onto me, which ultimately made me feel insecure about myself.
Aw, so for context, what age were you at this point?
Oh gosh, I was probably like 20, I want to say like 27, 26 maybe. Yeah.
Right, so right around where I am. Well, I'm a
Yeah.
little older than that, but yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's such a good setup. I'm so glad you brought up this story, because in today's world, and how I got to this idea, I remember, you already know the story I'm going to tell. It all started with social media, and I think that is a huge kind of theme in the social media world, where people like kind of judge other women for what they're doing online.
Yes.
So my backstory to this subject. I had jumped in, I had gotten here, I met all these amazing girls, strong, beautiful. They all do all kinds of different things. A lot of them are a lot younger than me, since I am older than Johnny and where he's at in baseball. You find a lot of the girls are like 20 to like 23 versus I'm 28. And we had gotten on the subject of social media. And it was like, I think it would be really neat to create content around baseball, because not a lot of people live this type of lifestyle. It is kind of crazy. We're always traveling, always moving. John's gone again this week. So it would be kind of cool to just show like how I live alone, or how we do long distance, or just those kinds of subjects. And they were like, oh, I would love that. Like, no one does that. That's amazing. But half of them kind of sat there and then looked and said, well, I don't want to get made fun of. And I was like, the first thing in my head was like, I never even thought of that. Shout out to my mom for maybe, I don't know, making me confident. But like, I was just going to make the content and not even think about it. But then they mentioned like, oh yeah, there's like, it's like a thing, like you could get made fun of in the baseball world. And I was like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, other girls are going to make fun of you. And yeah, that was part of the conversation. And I was like, and the first thing out my mouth was, that's kind of messed up. Like,
Absolutely.
like if you think about it, we all have dreams, we all have hopes, all have goals, and we all want to reach those. Why are we hindering another woman's like joy and hope and goals? Like, I don't understand why it's a big deal that they're willing to hit record and put it on the internet. Just like you want to be a teacher, or you want to be a astronaut, or the next president. It doesn't matter. All of those are goals. But why do we feel the need to like hinder other people's shine, other people's areas? So going back to your story, Mom, this even they tie completely together, even though it's completely different times. And this is like 20 years and a difference in time at this point. But women to this day still do this. And whether it's you want to get dressed and you go to the store and you look amazing, or to your point, going to your son's baseball game, or you want to get dressed and show up and make content, why is it that other girls feel the need to hinder that? That confidence that you finally dolled up, you finally got dressed, you finally are going after what you want, whatever it may be. Why is it?
I don't know. As I've gotten older, I've realized, just on self-reflection, there's been moments where I've doubted people, where I've been like, oh, are you sure you should do that? I've never been a girl to say like, why are you doing that? I mean, at least I hope I've never been. If I have, please let me know. But I truly have just really, I'm one of those people that believes, we should just build each other up. And so I believe a lot of times when women are doing that, it's because they have a dream in their heart that they're afraid to step out in faith and try, because they're feeling insecure. They're scared that they're going to fail. They're afraid that maybe they don't have enough sparkle in them or that they're not worthy of sparkle. And I think a lot of times that's what becomes the projection of why they say what they say or think what they think to other people that are putting themselves out there, is because actually truly that within them, they are feeling insecure. They're not feeling, courageous enough to take that step out in faith and try the thing that they actually want to try, or do what they want to do, or be who they want to be. And a lot of times it comes down to just feeling worthy about it, And I think
That is so true.
yeah, like I think a lot of times we as women, we hate to admit it, but we're insecure. We're insecure. And a lot of times when we see another woman doing something that we would like to do, when we share, or sorry, when we say self-doubt, when we speak self-doubt over them, when we, speak negativity over them, it's a lot of times a reflection on the person that's speaking it, not on the person that's actually doing it.
That's such a good way of putting that. And it's almost a reflection of our own fears, our own insecurities, our own doubts that are coming out of us and portraying jealousy a little bit, or portraying maybe even, because I say jealousy in a way of, you're low-key kind of jealous that they're out there doing their thing, that they're out there willing to go do it, willing to chase after their dreams. And we've all have experienced some sort of jealousy, whether it was 8 years old on the playground and someone else got a brand new Barbie doll and you're looking at it saying, I want the Barbie doll. I know I've probably been there. Or you get a little older and you're like, wow, that girl's hair is so curly and amazing and mine's dull and flat. Like little things like that. But even big things like, wow, that girl's so brave. She can go out there. I wish I could do that. That is a little bit of, telling yourself that you're not capable of doing something and speaking doubt into yourself as well.
Yeah. I don't know
where I love the way you put everything beautifully.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to speak to the part about jealousy you were talking about. I don't know where I read this, but at some point I did. It was jealousy can be a North Star. And a lot of times what that means is when you start to feel a little envy or jealousy, take a step back and really reflect on why do you actually feel that way, and ask yourself why a couple times, because you're going to get to the root. But a lot of times it's pointing you towards something that you truly desire. Maybe that person is doing their thing. They're creating content. Maybe they're showing off outfits or showing their art or singing or writing poetry, whatever it is, and they're putting it out there. Maybe that jealousy you feel, maybe that doubt you feel over that person and that negativity is actually pointing you toward what you truly desire, what you really want. Maybe it has nothing to really do with them, but it has more to do with you and you actually taking the steps toward doing what you want to do.
So good. Mic drop, Mom. So I want to touch on kind of a touchy subject, but what if you are one of those girls, you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, I am that girl. I am the one saying, wow, look at her try to do this, or wow, look at her. Because honestly, we probably all have been there, and that's okay. I'm here to tell you it's okay. But let's correct behavior and let's be a girl's girl. Okay. So what would you say to that woman that is doing that? That is like, oh my gosh, I'm raising my hand. That's me.
I just say, like, if you don't like something or something feels negative, like on as far as content goes, just scroll past. It goes back to that whole, like, what is it in the Bambi movie? They're like, my mama said that if you have nothing nice to say, then just don't say anything at all. Maybe try that. And then if you can start doing that, I would say maybe just start cheering women on. Find something that you can say that's nice. Find something positive. I mean, you can always find something nice to say about someone. There's always something, right?
I agree. Like, I love seeing the best in people. I mean, one of the things I always look for when I'm meeting new people or I'm trying to make friends, because that's in my wheelhouse right now, is I'll find something to compliment them. So whether, wow, that's amazing, you're so smart, what a career, after they're telling me what they do, or they're wearing a bunch of jewelry. Oh my God, I love your taste in jewelry. It's so amazing. Like, I think you always just taught me that, just to compliment people and like just give freely, because compliments are free. So I always say as like, that's a really easy way to just make someone's day. And then in turn, it actually makes you more joyful, makes you more happy because the other person reacts in such a positive way. So that's like a little tidbit that I would give.
Yeah. I feel like, especially when it comes to content, I think, you know, it takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there, to put yourself out on a podcast, to put yourself out on a reel or, you know, write a book or whatever it is. I think a lot of times we forget how hard it is to put yourself out there. So if anything, you could say, wow, that's really awesome that you're like, you know, reaching for your dreams, that you're putting yourself out there. You know, we cheer each other on as women. I mean, when one woman rises, right, we all rise.
I love that saying, even though it's kind of cliche and people have used it for so long. I love it. It's still so important. Imagine if all of us women on the internet, instead of tearing other women down, we were just this super force where we just encouraged and left amazing comments and kind words. Wow, you're beautiful. Wow, you're so smart. Like, imagine the impact we would have on this world just by taking one step forward and doing that, because there are so many internet trolls.
Yeah.
And you're right. It takes so much courage to show up, to talk, show off your talent, show off whatever knowledge you may have. If all of us were just like this big super force, hey girl, that's amazing. Imagine what the impact that could have. And honestly, we consume so much content. There's enough room for really anyone. I mean, there's a community for everyone, whatever niche it is.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. As you make content, as you start to, you know, make content for baseball and baseball life and just for all the things that you like to do and you've been wanting to do for your own personal social media, do you ever truly ever feel any of that like doubt as you start to put that content out or as you start to create it? Does that ever creep in? I know you said that you didn't really think about it before, but has it ever affected you? Have you ever second guessed anything, or are you just like one of those awesome people? I'm just kidding.
Oh no, I am not one of those awesome people. I would say 100% this has crept in my mind, especially body image has crept in my mind. Maybe even, do I have something to offer? Like, do people really care? All like the typical kind of thoughts that I feel like everyone gets. But I know for me, I am not scared of people per se. I think because when growing up, I did like singing and things like that. I was always like wanting to be in the spotlight. I would say I'm more scared of like my friends saying things, because, and not like my close friends, because my close friends would never say anything, but like, I don't know, like people you were friends with like 10 years ago or something. I think that would be probably the thing that has held me back in the first place. But then I don't understand why they would do that, because even though I don't talk to that person, and I can't even think of a person in my mind, but just in the back of my head, like, why? Because like, I don't really care what you're doing, like, but I'd be willing to support you if you were doing something like that. Like, I have people that I knew from like, I went to like school with in elementary school who are influencers now that I'm like, wow, this is so great. Like, so if someone were to negatively like do that to me, I'd be like, wow, you really suck.
I would
Because
say
I don't understand why you care.
I'd be like, they're just jealous.
So yes, it does. Yeah, my mom's like, they're just jealous. But
Jealous.
really though, like going back to my story, actually, I was like, why do people care? Like in my head, I'm like, why do people have that much energy to sit there, to scroll through people's social media and laugh at them? It makes zero sense. It just shows you how low of a person you are. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. I'm going to say it. It just shows you how low of a person you are that you can sit there literally scroll through and laugh at what people are doing and trying to achieve. Because I guarantee you, if you aren't on social media and you're trying to achieve a goal, let's say you're trying to get your master's in, I don't know, something crazy and amazing, or you're trying to become a doctor, you would hate it if there was a highlight reel on everything you did trying to get your doctorate or trying to become a lawyer or trying to become an astronaut, and someone's sitting there and laughing at you take an exam. Someone's sitting there laughing at you, you know, talk to your professor, or, you know, try something new. I don't know what it is. You would be so upset. So why do people feel the need to show up and do that to other people? And I do not understand that, because it feels so low, because every single one of us have dreams inside of us that we want to achieve. And we should all sit there and clap and applaud and keep each other going, because we all need community. We all need to be a part of something that is making us feel like we're heading towards each other. That's like society. We all need doctors, we all need astronauts, and to be honest, we all need content creators. Half the recipes I get off online are from brave people who have sat there and tried a recipe or have shown me this, or maybe it's a beauty trick with my makeup or my hair. You know, I follow a girl I've known for years. I didn't really know her, but she lived next to my aunt and she does hair, and I like follow her hair stuff. She's like brilliant at it. And it's like awesome, like, you know? So I think it's just crazy that people feel the nerd to make fun of people when really, you know, we all need each other.
Okay. Can we just real quick talk about how hard it is to make content? I agree
It's very
with
hard.
So when you're talking about all these influencers, when you're talking about all these people that create content, and I'm listening to you and you're saying, you know, I can't believe people have the nerve. Well, a lot of times people don't even know what it takes to create that, what it takes to actually create the content and take the time to cut it up and, you know, plan it all out and then put it out there and even write like a caption with it or whatever else. I think a lot of times people don't even understand the work that goes behind it. They just think, oh, they just film something and throw it up there. And I think that's another thing that's so important, that people need to remember that, or at least understand that. But it goes back to you not feeling good about yourself. If you have to make others feel smaller so you can feel taller, honestly, you don't feel good about yourself. And that's the bottom line. And you need to do a deep dive into how you see yourself and what it is that's making you feel that you need to put other people down or make fun of what they're doing in order to make yourself feel like happier on the inside. That negativity feeding you. Why is negativity feeding you?
Now, you're probably sitting here wondering, okay, how do I be one of these women who support women? Okay, and not everyone wants to be a content creator, so we get it. Maybe it's, you know, someone working towards being a lawyer, or it's a friend that just had a baby. How do you be one of those girls, right? I know for me, I just did something for a friend that I absolutely love. And she was working really hard towards becoming a court reporter. And I hadn't seen her in a long time, like 2 or 3 months. She has a baby, she's family, she's working really hard going to school. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, what should I do? I haven't seen her in a long time, but I want her to know I'm here for her. I support her. She can't always text me back because she's so busy. What should I do? Well, I went to Target and I got a little basket and I put together like a study package with like a little Bloom energy drink and, you know, some stuff for her to take care of herself, a candle, all that fun stuff. And I dropped it off, wrote a card and say, I'm supporting you and I love you and I can't wait to see you after when you're done with this busy season. And she texted me and she was so happy and grateful. But that was just one way I was able to just completely like support her and be there for her and just be one of those like girls.
I love that. I think that's so sweet and so awesome. I honestly think that is a great way to support your friends, and doing little random gifts. I think sending texts, encouraging text messages, or maybe sending them a hype song that, you know, maybe you heard a song and it makes you think about them and you're like, girl, this is your hype song. Like, I think there's just endless ways for us to support each other. And I think a lot of times people just hearing from you, even if it's a, you know, voice audio, what is it? A voice memo?
A voice memo, yeah.
Yeah, a voice memo, a text message, a phone call, a card in the mail. Words of encouragement are huge when people are trying to achieve something or, you know, work toward a goal or a dream, or maybe they're just starting out. So maybe they're just starting a business, like your friend's making cookies, or, you know, starting a gift wrapping business or whatever. Maybe you order something from them. That's a way of encouraging them. Or maybe you put them, if you have social media, maybe you put their shine on and say, hey, my girl just started a cookie company. Don't miss out. There's so many
one
ways.
of the simplest ways is just to share, like, send, comment on someone's post who has a small business.
Yes. And I think that's huge. It's just letting people know, hey, my friend's doing this, my girl's doing this. And even if it's people you don't know, I know I've shared like artists' work. I don't even know them on my social media. And I've shared, you know, beautiful cookie makers or other people's content because I just think it's so awesome. And so I think a lot of times as women, we, you know, we can think outside the box all the time. And so like, you made a box, that was awesome. So I think it's important to do things in action, but also speak. If you see something beautiful, you see something awesome, or you see someone just starting out, say something encouraging and build them up.
And it takes like a few seconds to comment on something or to like something, or it just takes those quick little moments. Even sending a meme that's encouraging. And a friend who was like, I'm trying to make a big decision, send me some girl pass quotes. Absolutely. Or here's a real on decision making, like little things that encourage, bring hope, remind them of who they are. I think that's one of the most underrated things that people do, is remind other people who they are. Even if it's just telling that person, you are one of the most kindest people I know. Or, my gosh, you are such an incredible mom. Or, wow, I saw your podcast and I listened to it, and wow, you have so much knowledge on XYZ, right? Just little things like that really go the lengths. And as a woman who is in a lot of long distance relationships, and I don't mean romantic, I mean my friendships as well. I have my husband, I'm long distance with him, but I have to remember I'm also long distance with all my friends, They're either in California, my other childhood best friends in North Carolina, even my family. But making time to call people, send a voice memo, send them a meme, I think it's one of the most impactful things you can do in your friendships. And I will put it on my to-do list because I'll literally forget. I'll be like, oh my gosh, Sierra, I'm going through the week. I'm super busy. And Thursday hits and I've not talked to anyone. And I feel like I'm going to fall over because I'm so tired. Friday morning, all you have to do is spend 15 seconds, text one of your friends. Yeah. Like I'll literally just put it on my to-do list. Or the next week, I'll be like, okay, Sunday evening, Tuesday, I'm going to call Jenna, and Thursday, I'm going to call Shannon. And I'll literally purposely write it in my calendar. Even if they don't answer, I'll just leave a voice memo. And I think those little things are super important. And in this generation, we forget about the phone, because before you would just pick up the phone. Now there's now there's even more ways to communicate. So we should communicate even more.
Yeah. I know that like with the podcast, there's been times when we've recorded and I've taken a step back and been like, oh my gosh, did I sound okay? Was I okay? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, you sounded good, whatever. But I've had a friend call me and say, oh my gosh, I listened to your podcast and you guys sounded so good. Wow, that was just an amazing podcast. And just that little bit of encouragement, that little bit of celebration of what we're doing just gave me more momentum to just keep going. Because sometimes we're going to self-doubt. Sometimes we're going to not be able to see how well we're really doing. And we need those outside encouragements to let us know so that we can keep on keeping on. Because not every day is going to be sparkle and sunshine. Sometimes we're going to doubt ourselves. Sometimes we're not going to feel good about ourselves. And so when our girls step up and they say, hey, you're doing a good job, it helps us to keep going. And then we can return that same favor because they're going to have days of self-doubt. They're going to have days where they're not feeling their best or feel like they're doing great. But we're going to step in and we're going to return the favor and say, oh my gosh, you're doing such a good job. I'm so proud of you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, this episode, everyone, was all about being a girl's girl. A girl's girl. So we're out here supporting all the girlies. Yes. So if you are on YouTube, drop a comment. Make sure you share this with a friend and send a little love note with it and say, hey, this is just a reminder that I'm supporting you, because we want to get this message out to as many girls, because again, we want to be a super force of womanhood. Imagine the impact we could have on the next generation if we show them what it looks like to love one another. Just imagine that. So start now by sharing this with a friend. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope this episode gave you something to think about, inspired you, or made you feel a little less alone. We hope you share this with a family member or a friend, because they definitely need it too.
And if you like what you heard, don't forget to follow and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen.
Let's get social. You can follow us on Instagram at callyourmom_podcast, on Facebook at callyourmompodcast, and on YouTube at Call Your Mom Podcast.
And if you're needing a little extra advice, you can always text MOM, M-O-M, to 833-569-4378. Follow the prompts, answer the questions, and then spill the tea.
And we might be answering your tea on next week's episode, so you're going to want to check it out. And remember, when life gets messy, overwhelming, or just straight up confusing, you can always
call your mom.